update. We are very excited to be here with you. And as I mentioned before, if you will please put all of your questions into the Q&A box, and we will make sure to get those answered here today. And as always, you can find our upcoming webinars at jobtread.com/webinars. So without further ado, I'll hand it over to JobTread Founder and CEO, Eric Fortenberry.
Thanks, Taylor. Welcome, everybody. We are so excited to have you here joining us today for this product update. We've got a lot in store. We're going to talk about everything from company updates to the product and what's coming up. So just wanted to welcome everyone. Appreciate you being here, spending a little bit of time with us. So without further ado, going to hop into it. I wanted to just thank everyone for this amazing growth that we've had. You all have made a tremendous impact on helping to get the awareness out there, sharing everything that you have on social, talking about JobTread with your friends and colleagues. It's made a huge impact on our growth, and we're so thankful and we're so grateful. Everyone that was at recent events, even speakers on stage, like we are very, very thankful that you guys help us continue to spread the word about JobTread. This growth really is unprecedented. To go from 2,000 customers in November to 1,000 more in March, and just 4 months is just crazy. We're over 3,300 active customers now, and it's been really, really awesome, and it gives us the fuel that we need to keep growing our business, keep reinvesting in the team. So just wanted to thank everyone for everything that you've done to help spread the word. And then when we look at all of the usage, I mean, again, this is just staggering. $4.3 billion have been sold and managed on JobTread. It just in such a short time since we started this company and we took this product to market, to see such growth already has really been very, very exciting. And again, our whole goal here is to help you all to be able to build more successful, more scalable and profitable businesses. So to see the results of that, to see all of your success, it keeps fueling us to keep going. Again, we've got over 20,000 active customers now, and you guys have run over 300,000 jobs in the system, with 350,000 vendors, and almost 750,000 customers have been entered into the system, 4 million hours logged. I mean, again, we're just seeing the usage across the board, and it's just so exciting. I want to also thank our entire team. Behind the scenes, you all have done a lot of hard work to make this happen, especially our customer success team. Let's see it in the chat box. If you want to give a shout out to your customer success manager, they have been very hard at work at helping you all to get implemented, to learn the system so that you can have the success, with JobTread. Very much appreciate everyone's hard work over there. And, we keep adding to our team. I wish I could give a shout out to everyone, but I want to welcome the new JobTread team members that have joined our customer success team since our last time we were on here. We've got Marley, Paris, Sam, Jared. We are just so thankful to have such great people continuing to join us and to help us help you all be able to build better businesses. So if you haven't had a chance to meet these people, again, we would love for you to do that. Give them a warm welcome on the chat. They've joined a great team. They've joined a great opportunity here, and we're just so excited that that we can keep building this team. And speaking of building the team, we are hiring. We are just constantly hiring. We're looking for more customer success managers, more customer support specialists. We're looking for another customer training specialist to work directly with Anna. We're looking for a senior accountant and controller to work with my dad to help kind of manage all the finances and bookkeeping and accounting. We're looking for another graphic designer and more software developers. So if you all know anybody, please do refer them, send them our way. We very much value referrals. It's just so important that we find the right people who understand construction, they understand our mission and are passionate about, joining a great team that wants to help others and help you all, be as successful as you can. So please do send them our way. We're always going to be hiring and looking for great people. All right, wanted to give a quick little recap of JobTread Connect. So that was our second time doing it in January, our annual user conference. We had over 500 people in attendance this year, which, very, very exciting. We actually had to stop selling tickets, sold out the hotel. We had 32 ed sessions this year, 2.5 days worth of content and learning and networking. We had 25 industry partners that came and helped sponsor the event. Very grateful for that. 4 keynotes. It was just a really exciting time. it was so awesome to have all of you come into Dallas to spend time with us. I think we've got a little recap video here too.
Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome to the stage JobTread founder and CEO, Eric Fortenberry.
Could see it was a jam-packed event. I want to, help everyone, be able to attend next year. So be sure to save the date, January 15th to the 17th. We're still kind of finalizing the hotel and kind of all the details. So, we're 90% sure this is the date though. Please save it on your calendars. As you could tell, even just watching the video, you can see, tons of people, tons of opportunities to network with other businesses, other people who have similar, challenges. They've maybe been where you have been, they're farther along, they're maybe a little bit, behind, kind of whatever it may be. Like, our goal is to bring all of you together so that we can network, we can learn and grow together. So super excited, about this event every year. Definitely, mark this down in your calendars. We'll be opening up registration probably in June, but just want to put that on everyone's radar. Also wanted to recap our very first JobTread Beginner Bootcamp. We did this on May 2nd and 3rd. It's the first time that we did it. It was really awesome. We had 60 contractors come in, for 2 days of learning. Got to meet all the JobTread team. We did, happy hour at our office again. This is right here in our office building. So really great opportunity for all of our new customers to quickly get up to speed, get some hands-on training. We thought this was such a successful event that we're looking to do the next one at the end of June. If you're interested in that, please do, reach out to your customer success manager. Let us know. We'll get you on the list there to make sure that you get the invite and get it when we come out. Whoever was, if you're in JobTread Connect or came to this boot camp, we'd love to see it in the chat, kind of what your experience was. Do you recommend it to others? I think, again, it's just such a rare opportunity that we can keep building this community together and be able to foster these connections, make these relationships with you all. So, we do hope that you'll be able to make it out. Obviously the boot camp is more geared towards, beginners who are kind of learning the basics, but very excited about these opportunities. Anna has done a tremendous job putting together all of this training curriculum to help people quickly get up to speed. We've also recently launched our new weekly think tanks. So every Thursday at 4 p.m. Central, we essentially have topic-based think tanks that Anna helps to facilitate, where we can, throw out things, whether it's kind of, about new updates, things coming out, existing features, just different topic every week. It's a really great opportunity to kind of have a much more in-depth conversation with your peers and with our team as well. You can learn more about the topics and can register for the upcoming think tanks directly in the help desk under the live training section. So be sure to check those out. And also, again, want to remind people about JobTread Pros. Like, this is a phenomenal community. We are just so floored at how active and invested everyone has been in helping other people, join this community and helping other people get up to speed on JobTread. This is a great place, to ask questions, to discuss, maybe potential future features, to vote on features. You will likely hear about upcoming things or new recent releases. You'll hear about it here first, because we're very active on our JobTread Facebook group. You know, I think it's just really awesome though to see all of the people helping each other, you know, whether it's JobTread related or not, just build better businesses. That's our goal with this community. We want to help you all to build the best companies that you can. And to do that, we have to work together. A rising tide lifts all boats. So let's help each other do that. You know, if you've been in this JobTread Pros community, you know, and you want to give a shout out to anyone who you think's been super active on the group, you know, go for it, do it. You know, we got tons of rock stars out there that, you know, I don't know how they do it, but they're answering questions faster than our team's even able to get to it. So thank you. Thank you all for being so active and engaged and helping everybody in this community. It's really awesome to see what's happened on our Facebook group. We've also got builder stories. And I'm super excited since we launched this, you know, this podcast, we just released our 40th episode. You know, it's been such a tremendous experience getting to interview so many successful business entrepreneurs, you know, learning how they got started in their career with construction, about the successes they've had, about the challenges, how they've overcome them. You know, it's a great resource. I highly encourage you to go take the time to learn from some of these others. You know, we go in depth about everything from how they got started to how they built the business, you know, what their challenges are. I think you can get tremendous value just learning from others. So every Wednesday we publish a new episode. Would love for you to check those out. You can go to builderstories.com. You know, you can listen there, or you can listen on all the major podcast, streaming services as well. And if you're interested in coming on the show, please also, you know, there's an application on the builderstories.com website. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to have you on. You know, if you're willing to share your successes and challenges, then please do reach out to us. Also really excited based on all of your requests for help with marketing JobTread, you know, on your websites, you know, helping you to be able to articulate to your customers, you know, what your process is, the value of having a construction management system. Like, we heard all of your feedback, and we have delivered this marketing kit to help you promote this. You're going to have everything from badges that you can put on your website to content to screenshots, you know, even social media posts. You know, we want to make sure that you have all of the resources you need to be able to market this to your customers. We hear all the time how JobTread has been a competitive advantage for people to be able to win more jobs. And so by showing them that you have a very good process, you know, you have systems in place that will help you to deliver a great customer experience, you know, we think that this is so important. And so we wanted to help you, you know, be able to have that content, get that content on your website. And if you've got ideas on what other content we might be able to provide, please don't hesitate to reach out and ask us. We are excited to give you the tools that you need to be as successful as possible. You know, we also have marketing partners who have offered to help you, you know, be able to get this implemented on your website. If you don't manage your website or you need some help with it, whatever it may be, please don't hesitate to reach out. We'd be happy to put you in touch with those partners who can help you get that going as well. And you can find all of these resources directly in the help desk. We've also added some basically like a mini help desk on our front end marketing website, just so it's easier for when your customers or when your vendors, external users, you know, when they're trying to log in, when they're trying to learn how to use JobTread, you know, we have added some really helpful content so that it's available even before they get logged in to help them understand what is JobTread and why they should care, what will help them, you know, how is it going to impact their lives. You know, we even went as far as putting it under the who we serve, homeowners, you know, vendors, trade partners. You'll see those landing pages there. But even like on our login page, like we've done a lot of updates to really help sort of streamline that. You know, we had a lot of feedback about sometimes when people were trying to log in, they got off on the sign up page. We've removed all those links to just, again, help keep them very focused. You know, if they don't know their password, they haven't set one, we've improved the sign-in flow as well. But we hope that all of these resources will, again, make it easier for you to implement JobTread with all of your customers and your subs and vendors. So, you know, again, all of these resources are available to you directly in the help desk, but we've made it, you know, easy for them to find this information as well. And recently, we've launched a new certification program. So Anna's been super busy, you know, putting together her background and her education, that she's just, you know, really passionate about helping people to learn and adopt technology and software. And so she's put together 4 amazing certification programs. You know, you've got the estimator program, project manager, administrator, and bookkeeper. So you can go through these certifications you find them directly in the help desk. They kind of walk you through. They've got, some videos, and we teach you, and then we ask you some questions to make sure that you actually learned what you're intended to learn there. But that kind of walks you through learning these core functions of JobTread. And then when you're done, you get a badge that you can promote on your website, on social. Again, we want to help position you as the experts and show that you are very, in tune and understanding how to leverage these software tools that we are providing you. We also have a page on our website too, where, when you share that badge, you can link to that. So for others who may not know, what is a JobTread certification, they'll actually be able to click and read more about it so they understand the importance of it and how that's helping you to build a more successful business and provide a much better customer experience. And that goes into our new accounting partner program that we launched to help bookkeepers and accountants to be able to learn JobTread. We see just a ton of demand for bookkeeping and accounting services. And, I won't get on my soapbox, but I think that this is, hands down one of the most important things that contractors need to do is to make sure that you have an accounting system and that you have system to organize all of your bookkeeping. I've seen so many people who don't have something, or they feel like their accounting system is in total disarray. Like, it's up to you to get that fixed. And so, again, we recognize not everybody here is going to be very qualified to set up your own books, to implement QBO, QuickBooks. And so what we're trying to do is help, recruit more bookkeepers and accounting partners to be able to help you get these things implemented. We see the value that this is, but we also want to make sure that they fully understand JobTread. So we're giving them the tools that they need to more efficiently manage all of their clients on JobTread, as well as to get JobTread certified, learn the product. And then even directly in our marketplace, once they're certified, we're adding them to a new partner directory so that you can quickly find who is a good bookkeeper or accounting partner for you. You can reach out to them. But again, I highly recommend that you make sure that you have this in order. As you scale your business, it's so important that you've got a clean set of books and that you've got the JobTread QuickBooks integration fully set up and integrated. And so we're bringing you more and more partners because, again, as we're exponentially growing our customer base, all of these partners can only take on so many new customers per month. So it's very important, we believe, to keep building our accounting partner program so that you have those resources that you need to be successful. And that leads me into some of the marketplace updates that we've continued to make because, again, we have a very rapidly growing marketplace. Our goal with this is to create this connected ecosystem of partners that are offering complementary, businesses and services and products and solutions that will help you build that better business. And so as this thing has continued to grow, we've needed to add a few more features so you can now search the marketplace directory. You can filter it by category. You can even see who's been with us the longest by sorting by date there. And then, up at the top, you do see kind of, what we have is sort of our premium marketplace partners. This is a paid thing that they are paying for. So, the ones that are being promoted up top, you can check them out. You've got, even a video when you click on that page to learn even more about them. But down at the bottom, there's a full directory, a full listing of every single partner that we have that's on the marketplace. We're constantly adding new people to it. So please do, if you're looking for, anything from bookkeeping to marketing to coaching, if you need implementation support, if you're looking for help with automations, like this list is continually growing, but we have lots of great partners that can help you. And so I encourage you, to please reach out to them to help, learn what they can do and how they can help you. It's going to, again, help everybody in the entire ecosystem to continue growing and to be as successful as we possibly can. And I do want to highlight our newest marketplace partners, since our last, town hall, contractors team, nice job, Builder Clarity, Penny Lane's jobcosting.com, Custom Craft, Oversight Bookkeepers, DAP, Freedom Brothers, Foxer, Digital Marketing. Like, again, the list is very, very extensive and long, but I do encourage you to check back, to reach out to them, and just make sure that, figure out how they can help you, because again, as entrepreneurs, we know you can't do everything great when you're trying to wear every single hat. And so it's up to you to figure out, what things are you going to do and that you can do great, and what things do you need to find a partner. We really believe in building a partner team that can help you make sure that you're keeping all of those things, that you're doing everything that you need to do to build a successful business. This is a great way to find people that can help you. All right, so I've gotten through all that, and now we get to get into the even more exciting part, all of the feature updates that we've rolled out over the last several months. We do try to do these a little bit more regularly, but it was a crazy beginning of the year, and so we're here. We got lots of updates to cover. I'm not going to go through kind of everything right here on this list because we're going to get into the details. But again, I want to highlight, this is driven by your feedback and by your involvement in helping us figure out how we can continue to improve our product. So we very much value that and we appreciate that. And so, again, it's just very, helpful that we can collaborate and build this together. And so we're going to go over these most recent updates. And then after that, I'm going to share with you what's on the roadmap. All right. So this is a huge, very, very exciting, very popular release. Now you have the ability to mark up photos, drawing shapes, arrows, adding text, lines, all that fancy stuff. Even adding colors and shading, you're now able to mark up all of the photos anywhere that they get added, whether it's to the job, the files, to daily logs, to tasks, it's all right there. And so you just click on it and you can use all of our markup tools that we have released to really help you articulate, and highlight certain aspects of the photos. You can even allow your customers, your vendors, everybody's able to do this. And so it's a great tool. You can go back and forth. They just real-time live update. So it's a very, very exciting feature that I know a lot of people have really appreciated. But for those of you who don't know, I highly recommend you check it out. Whenever you click on any one of the photos, you can just click the edit button at the very top and it gives you all the tools that you're able to do there. So, and I'm curious, as we go, if you like these new features, like, let me just see that chat box, light up there. I'm curious what the fan favorites are as we roll these out. All right, so next up, PDF markup. This was immediately the very first thing that people asked for right after we rolled out the photo markup. PDFs are handled a little bit differently. So, we had to take some extra work. We had to reconfigure actually quite a bit to enable this, but we're really excited about this one too. This is now going to let you, again, mark up plans, draw on them. A lot of all of the same features that you can do on photos are coming to PDFs. They're coming very soon. They may be coming later today. There are a few last little things that are being looked at, but either later today, maybe this weekend, early next week. Very soon is what I've been allowed to say. But be on the lookout for it. Again, this sets the foundation as well for all of our takeoff tool that I'll talk about in a little bit. But again, this is kind of that first step that we needed to get in place. So I hope that this will really help you, as you're continuing to kind of build out your projects and make sure that you and your customers and your subs and trade partners and employees all are on the same page. You can now use these visuals to do that. All right, now this was a big one. We put out a poll, I think it was back in March 8th there in the JobTread Pros community. I wanted to understand how many people wanted to be able to track their cost and their time by cost code. We had heard it a lot. Again, right now in JobTread, kind of the way it worked was that you would track your cost and people would clock in, by cost item, and when we talk to people, like, everyone wants to be able to estimate, by cost item and go into extreme detail. But when it came to the job costing, when it came to having your employees clocking in and out, they wanted to kind of take it up a level and do it at the cost code level. So when we put out that poll, it looks like we're hiding the both, but it was like 70% of you wanted to be able to track your cost and time by cost code. And so I'm super excited that, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, we rolled out this update. It's already been enabled by tons of you all, but this is giving you the ability to now track your cost. And even more importantly, and kind of the big nuance, the thing that was a little bit more challenging was to be able to project your cost at the cost code level, and so this is essentially everything from the projected cost, your cost to complete, your percentage of complete, your projected profits, and if you're a cost plus builder, your projected price. All of this can now be tracked and projected at the cost code level, which will show you that in the job budget, as well as in all of your WIP reports. You're able to see that now at that upper level. And so it is a setting that you can enable in the JobTread settings. It says right there, cost and time tracking. You can elect to do it, track by cost item or by cost code. So based on popular demand, we have rolled that feature out, very excited about it. I do want to explain though, kind of the key difference here, because the projections is where it really, came into play. So if you look at this top option, again, tracking by cost item, when you have your cost, let's say we're looking at that, that lumber package there, the budgeted cost is 15,000. Our actuals came in at 17,000. And so when you're doing it at the line item level, it looks like we were actually, we're at 17,000, for our projected cost here on that lumber package. And then for all of these, we were projecting it based on the max of the budget or the actuals. And so when you sum that up at the cost code level, you can see our projected cost was 27,000. However, when you look at this at the cost code level, when you're tracking at that level, what we're doing is we're now taking in all of this information, but we actually, for projection purposes, we're distributing all of the cost across all of the different line items. So really, you'll no longer be looking at this individual projections based on line items, but you can see that we're projecting that the actual projected cost here is the 25,000 at that cost code level, because we came in under on some and over on some. And so it really, it's kind of taking it up a notch. And so everything is now projected at the cost code level instead of at individual lines that maybe some were over, some were under. It's just basically two different ways that it's getting calculated. But we think that this is going to be really helpful for all of you who want to do it at the cost code level. And so, one other little small thing, like you technically could have already done this. You could already create your bills and expenses and log them to the cost code level, but the projections weren't going to be accurate. And so now when you go in and you create a new bill, new expense, we're defaulting to the cost code level right there. If you don't know, you can actually click on this little header right here and you can decide how do you want to create those bills and expenses. It's just going to default to cost code if you have that enabled. If you don't, it would default to cost group. You can change it. You can kind of still do it either which way, but just so you understand that under the hood for the projections, it's going to distribute them across all the line items proportionally so that, it can accurately roll those up. We've also added a neat little tool here. And technically it was there before. It was just kind of buried in the budget view. And so now we've brought that to the forefront so that you can quickly switch between how you want to view your budgets. Do you want to view it by cost group? Do you want to view it by cost code? Do you want to view it by unit, by cost item, by allowance? There's a lot of different options, but we've now just kind of surfaced that at the top level right there in the budget so that you can quickly switch between those different modes. Again, you may want to be estimating at the cost item level and very, a lot of detail, but as you get into the job costing, maybe you want to kind of have another view that saves it where it groups it by cost code so that you can much more quickly kind of at a glance see where you're at. So I hope everyone has, been able to have a little bit of time to kind of play with this and dive in. Obviously, there's more training and, kind of videos that we put out about this. But, again, I've heard a lot of great feedback. This is kind of, the goal is to simplify, and make it easier for you to be able to get those job costs in there. As much as it, everyone kind of wishes it was just sort of automatic and automated, like, it's very important that you do take the time to do the job costing. This is so important for you to know your numbers and to be able to build a much more scalable and profitable business. And so giving you these tools, we hope will help you make sure that you're doing that job costing on every job and can again, hit those target profit margins. All right. So that was the, entering bills and expenses, but let's take a step over here to the cost codes for clocking in. So, again, people, when we've heard the feedback, man, like we got, all these line items that are, that are time trackable, it's just too much sometimes, people, just don't necessarily want their guys having to figure out, am I doing, the carpentry in this room or in that room or, on this, counter or that counter. And so, again, we're allowing you to have them clock in and out of cost codes now so that it's a much, simpler, easier experience for them. And again, those hours is just going to get distributed amongst all of the cost items that share that same code. Now we've also added a new feature because, again, we heard it from everyone. Some of you wanted the option to require your employees to select a job and to select a cost item or code, depending on your settings, when they're clocking in. And so we've now added that as an additional feature. It's a setting in the settings that you can turn that on and off. the use case to not require them to clock into a job is just, sometimes they're doing work around the shop, or, whatever it may be. Maybe the job hasn't been created yet. So I do think there's still a use case to not have that, but, we totally understand that, for some of you, you may just want to require it, and that's going to save you time having to reclassify and kind of move the hours to the jobs or to the specific cost code later. So it's up to you. You can now enable this. Obviously, if you have it enabled and they try to clock in without it, we'll throw an error and tell them, hey, you gotta select a job, or you gotta select a cost item or a cost code. So hopefully that will help out a lot of people. I know that was a big request for a long time. All right, this is a fun little quick update. It was one of those things where at the boot camp, I was sitting there, I was watching, some of our customers, kind of trying to build their first budgets, and they were having to, pull out their calculators to, figure out, how many of these quantity do I need, or, I want to add some wastage, or I wanted to, quickly, just calculate something. And so, came back to the devs, hey, how hard would it be to just let them type in a quick little formula, type in, just a little bit of math, right? Like, it's real quick. Can't you just kind of, just do that math right there on the fly? And, sure enough, it was totally possible. So directly now in any number input, whether it's a custom field, whether it's in the budget, whether it's in a parameter, wherever it may be, you can now do math right there in those fields. And we also support additional math functions, like rounding and floor, ceiling, all of those things. It's all now possible just on the fly right there. You can do that. And, it doesn't save that formula. It's just a very quick calculation right there. And then it's going to save the actual output for it. But I hope that this has been a really, time-saving thing for everyone. Again, we don't want you to have to pull out your phones or, potentially doing all this mental math or whatever it may be. We want to make it as easy as possible for you to build these budgets and enter all of this information. So, nice little quick win there. That I think a lot of you, some of you found before we even announced it, but yeah, glad it's been valuable for you. All right, now, and again, as you can tell, these are things that we have heard time and time again, and just goes to show, like, we truly do listen to your feedback, and we value it, and we get it in there when we can. We've heard this one right from the very beginning, the ability to send multiple bid requests at one time. It's so often you're sending out these bid packages and you're not just sending it to one vendor. Before this ad, you had to go and create each bid request, and then you had to clone it and you had to update it. And it was just a lot more cumbersome than we wanted it to be. So now we've given you the option when you're sending that bid request to add additional vendors to it. And we even made a nice pretty neat little tool here where you can actually search for those vendors by a custom field. So if you have, trade or, specialty, or maybe that's one of those custom fields on your vendor accounts, now you can come in and say, hey, I want all of the plumbers, or I want all of my electricians, or whatever it may be. We've made it really quick and easy for you to find those people and then add them to this bid request. And if you want, you can also click this little accordion here to open up, and you can actually customize some additional details, such as the subject of that, that particular document, or, who, the prepared by, the prepared for fields. But again, this is a much, much faster way to be able to send out, many vendor bid requests all at one time, so that it's a much more seamless process. I think it's been a huge win for all of those builders who have got, just a, bunch of subs, bunch of trade partners, suppliers that you're wanting to quickly send out those bids. We've already heard tons of feedback about it, but, again, wanted to make sure that everyone is aware of it. One of my little requests that hadn't quite gotten in there, was I'd love to have this same, this same kind of ability to, search for that initial vendor, by those custom fields. So maybe one day you'll notice that when you go to, new vendor document, whatever it may be. But, again, I love how, this has become a much more seamless process for you all who are leveraging bid request. All right. So another big update, again, I'm sure if you've been on the JobTread Pros, you maybe have kind of seen this, along the way, people saying, well, man, I went in and I made some tweaks on my document, but I that didn't make it back to the budget. we have enabled you to, again, customize every document that you send out so that if you do need to kind of make any adjustments, but maybe you don't want it back in the budget, maybe you do, now we've given you a tool directly on the document to very easily be able to update all of those line items and view all of the changes from that budget to the document. So you can essentially just, it's a mass action. You can either do it on an individual line item, say, hey, I want to push this, this description back into my budget, or I want to update that, that unit cost, whatever it may be. You can do it on an individual line item, or you can just select everything and use the mass action, right here where it says review and update cost items in the budget. And that's going to pull up this little, this little wizard that'll walk you through. And so you can review each individual change and exactly what changed. And you can pick the certain things that you want to push back, or you could basically just kind of look at it, decide what fields you want to update for everything. And then you could just update the remaining, I do recommend kind of going through a couple of them. And then, once you're confident at what's going to be pushed back to the budget, you can just hit update remaining. So it's a nice little add there. So you don't have to copy back and forth to the budget. We had added an update previously to allow you to do this from the budget back to the catalog. And so we just wanted to kind of close that loop and give you that one more step where you could do it from a document to the budget. And this is a great way to also, if you want to update, based on your bid request, when someone submitted what their cost, or their price to you is going to be, like, you can just seamlessly update back into the budget using this. If you've got write-in descriptions that came in, update the budget right from the document. It's a great handy tool that, that I hope will help all of you. All right. And moving on to allowances and overage totals. So, when we first rolled this out, we heard feedback that people would really like to see kind of at the, at the top level, what is the total allowance amount across all of their allowances? What is the total amount selected? What's either the overage or the remaining amounts? So before we had that, at the document level, but now you can actually do it at the, kind of just view it at a snapshot up top. You can see all of those, again, just a nice little kind of summary across the board. Hopefully gives that sort of that snapshot bird's eye view, for you and for your end, consumer, homeowners or property owners, whoever your end customer is, nice little kind of added benefit just to give a little bit more clarity and transparency as they're going through the process and they're making their selections. Moving on. All right. So we got some messaging updates. I think one of the neat little things, kind of sort of buried in just one little bullet point here, but like you can now attach photos and files to messages directly there, whether it's in the feed, whether it's on a document. We heard a lot of times people, you want to kind of have, a communication around a particular thing that hasn't been uploaded yet to the job, and you want to send out that message. And so you can now attach those directly to those messages when you create them anywhere in JobTread. We also heard a lot of feedback that, sometimes, you might just want to invite a specific internal or an external user to a conversation. You could have actually technically sort of done that, but probably on the opposite side, what we heard the most is that, on, like, let's say like on a proposal or on a document, or when you're talking about a task or whatever record in JobTread, if the customer had visibility to that record, obviously proposals and invoices, things like that, then they would automatically see all of the conversations happening. And so we heard a lot of feedback that people wanted to be able to have an internal only conversation that wasn't automatically shared with the customer. And so you now have that ability when you're creating these messages and having these conversations, you can decide if you don't want to make it available to all the document viewers or to all of the people who can view that record, you can remove that and you can select just certain individuals, or you could say only internal people. It's up to you how you do it, but we've now given you that ability to have those, private conversations, that you don't necessarily want to have to involve the homeowner in. So it's again, it seems like a little easy thing, but like this is a big change that allows you to have those much more targeted, messaging and communication there. And also though, just so so organization admins, like you still will have the ability to view all of these comments and conversations. It's something that, we feel is important that, you as owners of the business need to be able to have that full visibility there on anything that's, any message that's created, within a piece of content, a document, task, time, whatever it may be. We will be later kind of adding kind of, direct messages and things like that, that we'll let that kind of stay private. But, this is something that, again, we want to make sure that you all have the full picture, the transparency across the board about what's being discussed. Another really awesome update that this is kind of one of my dream updates from the very beginning, is the ability to have people respond to those email notifications and automatically capture that reply directly in JobTread. So when you send out that message, whether it's to an internal or an external user, whoever it may be, they can now directly reply to that, and it will just take everything from their reply, even their attachments. They can now be added automatically to that conversation thread directly in JobTread. So I know this has been a huge step forward in trying to bring all those communications into one place. It does require you to initiate that communication, that message from JobTread. But once you do that, they can either click and go to the portal, or, log in and it'll take them to that, or they can just now directly reply. And again, it captures it all in one place. So this is a super exciting update, really kind of streamlines that. I saw so many people screenshotting emails or saving them as attachments and uploading them. You don't have to do that anymore. Big win here for everyone. All right. So another nice little, just kind of quick little ad, but again, this I think makes a big difference to you when you're trying to get all of your units, your cost types, your cost codes, getting everything organized. It's once you kind of start getting in there, you start creating content. You got to be careful about just deleting things or making changes. And so we added some more functionality to help you to do this in the appropriate way. So now, when you go in, you can now archive any of these, the units, the cost types, cost codes. And when you archive something, that means that we're going to remove that option from being selected when new records are being created, or when records are being edited. I mean, anything that's out there will stay how it is, but it'll help you sort of not keep creating new records and new data with information that you don't want to be using anymore. And so if you want to take it a step further, you can delete this entirely from the system. However, what it's going to do before we allow you to fully delete it is we're going to prompt you, and we're going to say, hey, would you like to merge this record with something else? So maybe it's another cost code or another cost type, like another unit. Like if you end up having, maybe you got like hours, HR, or you got hours written out, you want to merge those together. And so that will take all of the existing records and update it. And so, again, it's just another helpful tool as you're getting into it. You'll be able to leverage this to kind of help you keep all of your data clean and how you like it. A couple other things on this, though. We did also give the ability for you to set a default markup to cost type. I won't get on my soapbox about how important I think it is to use margin over markup, but we understand that, again, if you're used to using markup, you might want to use that. And so, we've allowed you to set the default using either markup or margin. Obviously, we're going to show you kind of whichever one you input, you'll see the other one, so you can start to really get an understanding of the difference between the two. But, again, just quick reminder, a 30% markup will not get you a 30% profit margin. So be sure you learn the difference and that you're using what you're intending to have there for your defaults. And then lastly, on the cost codes, we've made it easier for you to now kind of nest your cost codes under, the parent cost code, just kind of further, make it easier to sort of organize all of your cost codes, right there in that settings. And one other thing I'll throw out, little hidden feature, there is a way to import all of these. I think we still need to add that import button in there, but if you go to JobTread, or if you go to app.jobtread.com/import, there are import tools. And so you can actually run the imports that way as well. If you need any help with this, I mean, obviously we're here, our support team's here to help you do that. But if you'd like to run your own imports, there are tools to do that. So let us know if you need help finding those. All right, on to, I'm sure, all of our favorite topic, tax. So we heard a lot of feedback from people that, that they wanted to be able to either turn off tax entirely, or they wanted to be able to set their own sales tax rate, across the board. We do have a built-in feature that automatically looks up your sales tax rate based on your location address. However, sometimes, you may not want to use that. I know sometimes in Canada, it's got some, varying rates. And so, we've now given you that ability on the settings there to essentially say, do you want to use the location-based tax rate, or would you like to use, a set rate across the board, just a universal sales tax rate, or do you want to turn off sales tax entirely, just disable it, never think about it again? If you don't need to collect sales tax ever, then you can just turn it off and forget about it. We've given you that flexibility now to be able to do that across the board. So it'll just really kind of streamline everything for you. One other fun update. So we saw someone wrote in the other day, said, they were somewhere in the Northwest, said that, it rains every day, and it was making them depressed, having to look in and see the rain every single day. And they asked us, can we just turn off the weather, please? We don't want to remind our guys that it's going to be raining yet again today. We already know that. So we, and there was another use case. I mean, again, maybe you're doing only interior work, the weather doesn't affect you. We've now given you the ability to turn that off. Last thing we want you to do is be depressed by the weather. So if you want to turn that off, it's now a new feature, visibility, directly in the settings. Totally up to you. If you'd like to see that, or if you'd prefer to disable it, you're now able to. All right. So we've got some new QuickBooks online integration options here. So really, like, it's been, when we first developed JobTread, I had kind of built this from, working where we needed to have, one customer with multiple locations and then multiple jobs under each of those locations. I mean, that's kind of how, JobTread is set up. And so in QuickBooks, the original kind of first way that it was done was it would just create that same hierarchy where you've got the customer account, and then you have the location sub accounts, and then below the locations, you had the sub account for the job. And that's how it's been for a long time. We've now added an additional option. So you see here, option number 2, where if you prefer to not have that location sub account, because again, you're doing residential work, they don't have, multiple locations, you just want it to be the top level customer account, and then the job to be directly below that as that sub account. You can now do that. And so that's just a nice little setting there to kind of just sort of, again, streamline everything, have fewer, levels of hierarchy there in your QuickBooks. And then we've had, for a while now, the ability to also integrate with projects. So if you'd rather use, if you're already using QuickBooks projects, then it does require you to manually create the project in QuickBooks, and then you link it to the job in JobTread. You can do that now as well. Projects can live, wherever, under whatever accounts above them. And as long as they're linked in JobTread and you select the correct project, then all the documents will flow over to that project. I did have Intuit and the QuickBooks developers that reached out to me, maybe like a month ago. This is one of those things that I've kind of thrown a little bit of a fit about for a while, saying how crazy it is that, like, they won't let us create projects. It's a single flag in the API that we needed them to add. They finally called me and said, hey, we've heard you. We're going to add that in a future update. So, who knows when future update means for Intuit. I'm not holding my breath anymore, but, at some point, I do believe we'll be able to automatically create projects. So, again, it's kind of however you want to do it, though. If you're not using projects today, I'd probably say just keep using, the normal kind of customer, sub account way that you're doing it, and that'll just seamlessly integrate with JobTread. It automatically creates all the correct accounts in the hierarchy for you. But just wanted to make everyone aware of this new option in case you'd like to just kind of have a little bit fewer hierarchy over there. You can now do that. And one of my favorite topics, I love integrations, I love automations. We've made a lot of Zapier updates, over the last couple months, but hands down, the biggest update that we've made that, I don't know if I can actually think of any other company I've seen do this, but we added a new action called the API query. So this allows you to essentially use our API directly in Zapier to create whatever, what's called a query, whatever query you want. This allows you to pull whatever data you want out of JobTread, or to push and create whatever data you want in JobTread. Literally everything you can do in our application, because the JobTread application is actually built on top of our own API. Anything you can do in the user interface, you can do through the API. And so we have just unlocked endless potential for your integrations. And so, it's just a really, really, advanced thing. It's a very powerful thing. I've been super impressed to see all of the, the people out there in the community, really digging into this, getting into it, figuring it out. Shout out to Dominic Edison, to Elliot Wittstruck, to, Gates Bryan, to Peter Rainey. Like you all have just been pushing the bounds. We're the earliest adopters of this, but it's been really exciting to see all of those, automations that you've created. I mean, it's again, like the potential is unlimited. I'll give you an example. Like, I know Dominic really wanted to be able to, right after a customer proposal got approved, he wanted to immediately send a deposit, for 50%. And so he has now automated that, through this API query. Super awesome. Again, it just, the sky's the limit here. It's definitely a technical thing. So, if you're not a, developer and don't, really need to, dive down that rabbit hole, we do have implementation partners who are now, starting to offer these Zapier as a service, helping people to build these automations to set this up. But again, the benefit of Zapier is like you can integrate with over 5,000 applications. This is how you can share data automatically between systems. So I do encourage people to sort of think about how this might be able to automate any sort of things that you want to have done. If you're manually copy pasting something from one system to another or doing something manual, Zapier could be a great way to solve that for you. And it's extremely affordable. But in addition to the API query, we've added additional, we now have something where it'll update the location. That's a new action that you can have. We've got the ability, you can now upload files to the organization level. Before you could upload it to the job and other places, but now if you just want to stick a file into the main organization files, you can. Some additional triggers. So when a customer contact was updated, that will now trigger a Zapier update. One of my favorite integrations is setting up, every time a new customer contact gets created in JobTread, that can automatically create it in your Google contacts or your Outlook contacts. And then if you have those synced with your phone, then you just like instantly have that, if that customer, that lead just submitted your web lead form, it just instantly shows up on your phone, like where you can just, right there, dial them. It just nice integration. But someone had pointed out, yeah, but if I go and update their phone number or update their email or update something, it wasn't triggering the update in Google Contacts or Outlook. And so now you can do that with this new trigger. We heard someone else who really wanted the ability to, to take actions and do some things when daily logs get created or when they get updated. So we've added that as well. And then one other cool little feature request. Everyone was really wanting to be able to download those document PDFs. So we've added the PDF URL so that you can generate that and save that PDF from any document that gets created. And if you want to go archive it and somewhere else or do whatever you want to do with it, you now have that as an option as well. But we're just really excited about seeing all of the automations and all of the ways that people have been able to extend the functionality for JobTread. It's been really great to watch. I highly recommend, if you are in Zapier, if you're, or if you're dabbling in our API, in the JobTread Pros Facebook group, there are some chats. There's a Zapier chat and there's an API chat. Highly recommend you get in there. Those guys are awesome. Everybody's just very, very supportive. Super cool to see that happen. I'm in there as well, so trying to chime in and help out when I can. But again, a lot of times our customers are beating me to it, which is super cool to see. And one other update, we've got an integration update. So we did just roll out, or maybe several months ago, but we hadn't announced it, but we have now a Gusto integration. They've got a great, payroll system where you can now have your hours that get logged in JobTread automatically, pushed over to Gusto, at the end of each pay period. I mean, you go through and you kind of review all of the hours for that pay period, and then you push it over with one quick click there. So, it allows you kind of just to make sure everything looks how it should be, but it's just a seamless integration to get everything pushed over there. All of the rates, for those hours go in correctly. That was one of my big frustrations with QuickBooks and with their payroll, and specifically their timesheet. They weren't, and they still aren't letting us push in, the varying rates. So if you have multiple rates for your employees, we just have to, add it as a description, on that timesheet entry. I have thrown as big of a fit as I possibly can to try to get that fixed. They didn't do it, so we integrated with Gusto. Sure enough, they came back a few months ago, said, hey, we've heard you. Okay, we're going to add it. you know, at some future update. They told me summer at some point, but again, I'm not holding my breath on that. But, you know, with Gusto, they've got a really easy to use system. They're also offering JobTread customers their first 3 months free, as long as you go into the JobTread integrations, you know, and create your account that way. That's how you get the 3 months free. You know, if you kind of go out and create it on your own or some other way, like we really don't have a way to make sure that your account gets that. But again, it's worth checking it out, you know, seeing if it might be a good tool to streamline some of your payroll directly with JobTread syncing over to it. And a couple other upcoming integrations I wanted to highlight. So we've been working on these, and, you know, looking forward to kind of getting them out over the coming weeks and maybe, you know, months. But, you know, Hound Dog is a really, really awesome system that, you know, I've been playing with and talking with these guys for a while. They have an automated certificate of insurance tracking. It leverages AI. You know, this is a huge pain point for me, keeping all of your subs and trade partners, COIs, you know, up to date, making sure that you're collecting them. So they've got an extremely awesome and affordable way. They have already built the integration into JobTread. You know, again, we're just kind of in that final stages. Hopefully get this out next week. But they will just automatically manage all of this for you as you're going through. We've also got a Plaid update that we're working on, where you can now pull in, you know, bank and credit card transactions directly to JobTread. You'll be able to see all of that, and then we want to create a much more seamless way for you to create those and log those expenses. Very excited about that one. Got some more work though before we'll be able to push that one out. And lastly, Render is a great, you know, it's like a remote sales tool for you to capture measurements. You know, when you're in the home, you want to kind of get those as-built measurements. They've got an awesome tool, or you can even allow the homeowners to do it and create that. And so that will essentially, you know, we're going to get an integration where we'll be able to, you know, allow you to kind of automatically create those projects, initiate sending the request to the homeowner, and then pulling back over any of those files. You know, definitely be on the lookout for these integrations coming soon. You know, really excited about them. And now what I'm sure a lot of people have been waiting for, right at the top of the hour, huh? So we have got the development roadmap here. These are the things that we are, you know, either currently focusing on or we're planning to focus on here in the very near future. So we've got, you know, centralized communications is something that is coming up. You know, we've been working to provide an inbox, you know, kind of like a feature that sort of consolidates all of the communications, all of the comments into one place. So it's easy for you to see that, you know, on the job, or even just, you know, kind of across everything. This will give you the ability to send out those messages to your leads, you know, where you don't even have a job created. Maybe you want to have direct messages or some group messages going. We're really excited about this update. You know, still got a little bit of work to do, but, you know, be on the lookout for this in the coming weeks. It's going to be a really big one for us. Purchase tax. Oh man, again, back to our favorite topic of tax. You know, we've heard from a lot of you. You want to be able to have a much easier way to, you know, just kind of put in the before tax amounts, automatically calculate the, you know, what the after tax amount would be. You know, again, technically your unit cost, your extended cost, they need to include tax, but we understand you want a way to kind of more easily kind of input the before tax. And so we're looking at and trying to figure out how can we, you know, enable you to do this without having to sort of overcomplicate, you know, the UI. We want to keep JobTread as simple as possible. But, you know, we've heard you, you know, now the other side for our Canadian friends, for our Australian friends, the UK, you know, where they have the, you know, the VAT and the value added tax, like, you know, for them, you know, the purchase tax is not a job cost. It will actually be reimbursed, you know, from their tax agencies later. So, you know, this is another reason why we know that we need to address this. And so we're working to come up with a good solution for this. You know, stay tuned for that. Streamlining the expense and receipt logging. You know, we've heard this, you know, part of that kind of, as I talked earlier about the Plaid integration, we think that that's going to be a great way to further streamline this. But we know that people want to make it as easy as possible to be able to, you know, snap a photo of that receipt, create those bills, create those expenses. You know, sometimes you may have bought materials for multiple jobs. You know, you want to just be able to create, you know, that expense and maybe have it kind of go and distribute it across multiple jobs in one swoop. We're looking at all of this and trying to come up with the best way that we can further help streamline getting all of your expenses, your receipts, everything logged into JobTread. we understand there's also, I mean, there are a lot of other great tools out there, that can sort of help do some of this, and then it flows into QuickBooks Online and then kind of comes over into JobTread. But as many of you know, there's a lot of benefits to being able to create it in JobTread and then be able to push it over to QuickBooks because of just how much easier it is to kind of get everything categorized to the correct line items, to the cost codes. So we're looking at that. We've heard you. We're very excited to figure out what we can do here. Another great update that'll be coming out, that we're going to start focusing on is, again, this specifications tab. We've heard a lot of times that you want to be able to have kind of an automated, sort of, from your budget, being able to select certain line items. Maybe it's all your approved items. Maybe, whatever it may be, you want to have a place directly on that customer portal, that vendor portal, right there where you can easily, share what are all of the specifications. You don't necessarily need to give them access to your budget or, have people see all that, but you have very specific specifications that you want to be available. And so we're working on and looking at how we can make that possible. I think even having a way where there could be a QR code that you could just paste up at the job, allow people to scan it, and just automatically takes them to that. It would be essentially kind of a publicly visible. You wouldn't be able to find it without scanning that link. But we're excited to further bring that feature to you. We've heard a lot of requests for it. There was an awesome couple think tanks recently where we collected a lot of feedback about how we can roll this out. So stay tuned for that. I think it's going to be a great update as well. And then the customer request document type. So I talked a little bit about this at JobTread Connect. So in order to really further help the design build companies out there, the people who, you may want to allow your customer to make their selections before you actually get into the contract phase. Maybe you have designers that are coming in and they're sort of helping, do those selections. Right now we understand the challenge with using a customer order is that that's essentially approving it. That's adding an approved, dollar amount, approved cost. And so you want to be able to, have the same approval process and the same sign-offs, but not have it impact the financials and not have it impact the budget. And so we're going to be adding this new document type, called customer request, very similar to the vendor bid request, where again, you can collect that information, but it doesn't update, it doesn't affect the financials and the approved amounts in the job. So in that same light, this is how we believe that we can actually accommodate all of the times, that you might want to send out some sort of, document. Maybe it's a ballpark proposal. You want to send them kind of a rough estimate, get them to sign off on it before you go out and you build out the detailed, proposal, the estimate, the contract, whatever you want to call it. Like, this will give you a way to sort of collect those signatures, collect that information, collect those write-ins, all of that up front without having to immediately affect all of the job costing and the budgeting. So, going to be a big update. There's a lot of places that we got to go and kind of take into account this new type of document, but I think it's going to bring a lot of kind of, solutions that will help all of you just further be able to collect that information up front before getting into the whole, contracting phase. File folders, boy, that has been a hot topic numerous times. We as much as we think that, tags are great, they add a lot of value, they're way more flexible. You can have a file, with multiple tags, versus having a folder where you might only have a file in one folder. We've heard you loud and clear. We understand that you really want your folders. We had another poll that was clear. And so we've got an idea on how we can implement a folder structure where you could still, either use your tags or your folders. We're gonna roll that out. We're gonna give it to you. We're done kind of trying to defend the whole tagging system. We're not taking any of that away. We still think it's extremely powerful. I encourage you to give it a try. But I understand some people just, that they really want that folder structure kind of. It's really just like a UI type thing. But we're gonna be looking at getting that rolled out in the coming months here on our development roadmap. So you can count on it coming. Take it to the bank. It'll be there. And lastly, this kind of much bigger project as you've seen, we have been working towards adding, the features that we need to be able to support an on-screen takeoff tool. We're very excited about it. This is probably one of the larger, projects that we've really, undertaken here, but with the photo markup, now the PDF markup coming out here in the next couple of days, these are some of those foundation points that we needed to lay so that we'll then be able, to have you go and just kind of pop open your plans, do all that on-screen takeoff, draw your, calculate your linear feet, your square feet, cubic feet, count the windows or doors or whatever you need to do for that on-screen takeoff. And then that'll automatically populate, back into the quantity, or even to a parameter. So, gonna take us a while. I'm sure we'll have maybe a few more, kind of product updates before we're actually ready to roll that out. It's definitely a very large undertaking, but we're very excited to have that built natively directly into JobTread. All right, so I hope everyone is liking those updates. Definitely love to see what your thoughts are. Maybe your favorite one. Do comment that here in the chat. I'll have to go back later. I hadn't had too much time to keep up with it all, but yeah, excited to see, are we hitting the mark? Is this the type of stuff you want? Can you tell that we've been listening, we're implementing your feedback? Like, you guys, it truly does drive our development, your feedback. Like, we view all of our customers as our partners. We want to collaborate. We want to build the best possible product on the market for everyone. And this is how we do it. It's by working directly with you. You've got the feature request board in the application to vote things up. I love all the discussions, collaborations on JobTread Pros too. So this is all of our effort and all of our work together coming to fruition here for all of us. And again, as you all know, or maybe our new people might not know, we are constantly putting out updates. A place to be able to keep up with that is in the help desk. There's a What's New tab. We do our best every time we roll out an update. We create a video for it. We create training materials. Our goal is to help make it as easy as possible for you to keep up with these updates, both the big and the small things. So on that What's New tab, you can always see the latest updates. Check out a little video. We also will incorporate all of the updates into our live training. So I encourage you to check those out as well. We do live trainings every single day. They're topic-based. We do the weekly think tanks. We now are looking at, we now have the monthly crash courses as well. Those have been a huge hit. Those are a little bit more in depth, usually, a couple, 3-4 hours, where you'll go through, estimator crash course or project manager crash course or an admin one. It's a great opportunity though, to just block out some time to take that time to get the knowledge and the training you need. And then also a little bit of hands-on in there where you can start implementing it. And then we've got the beginner boot camps. Such a huge success that we're now looking at doing that, every other month. We hope to see a lot of our new people come out to the June one. We'll publish the dates, once we have it exactly all nailed down, but, definitely stay tuned for that. And then, as you know, our annual JobTread Connect user conference, I'm so excited. I didn't know how we were going to take it to the next level after this last one in January, but I think we figured it out. We got a new venue coming. We think, fingers crossed, the contract's not 100% signed, but it's going to be huge. It's going to be great. We're targeting, 750, attendees, a couple hundred more, partners, our employees. We're looking at like 1,000 people at this event. So, gonna add it and make it a full 3-day event. So you definitely want to block out your calendar, middle of January there. So yeah, excited for all these opportunities to, again, keep providing, you training and educational opportunities to learn and grow your business. And lastly, I wanted to thank everybody for all of the shout outs. Again, it's been all of you that have helped us to continue growing JobTread. We have now over 150 5-star reviews on Google. It is just incredible. Every single one of those reviews, the whole team sees it. We share it. Like, this just continues to fuel and motivate us. It helps to reassure us that we are doing the right things. We are there for you all. Our goal is to build the best possible software company, but also the best service. We want you to have not only great software, but great service. Like, we view ourselves, as your partners, as, however we can help you, from coaching to implementation to training to, whatever you need. Like, we just really value this opportunity to work with you and to be an extension of your company. We genuinely, from the bottom of our hearts, want to see you succeed. And so I thank you for continuing to spread the word. I thank you for, again, creating all of the reviews. This is how we've won numerous of the awards and recognition. This helps us to continue investing in our company and our team, to keep adding those resources that we need to build out and make JobTread the best possible company that we can. Obviously, as we continue to scale the business, like, we got to keep building out our team. And so, it helps us to keep growing. And we thank you so much. These reviews, this word of mouth, it keeps our customer acquisition cost extremely low. That's how we can keep making JobTread as affordable as possible. And I thank you so much for doing that. If you hadn't done a review for us, please do consider it. We do also give a little something to our customer success managers every time they get these reviews in. Again, we want them incentivized to make sure that they are bending over backwards and that they are delivering you the best possible service they can. So thank you, for taking the time to create a little bit of that recognition for them. And that concludes the webinar portion of this. I realize I ran over a little bit of time. I appreciate everybody sticking with us. I'm happy to also answer any questions. I've blocked out some more time so that we can dive into whatever else y'all want to go into. I love, again, hearing the feedback. If you want to get into a little bit of demo stuff, we can do that. I just had so much to get through that I wasn't able to incorporate doing a live demo right now, but happy to do it at this point. Thank you, everyone, for coming.